What is going on, guys? Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Reaper Fear, and we are playing some Call of Duty World at War. I just wanted something to just to talk over, um, because I think there's some stuff that I've been going through that I'd like to talk about. If it's sniped right off the bat, all right. That I just like to talk about, give my perspective on, because I think it's important, honestly. And I'm not usually one to, toot my own horn or whatever, but so I say I think it's important. That genuinely means I think it is something worth talking about, something that really people should think about, even if it's something that, they don't necessarily need to use themselves. But basically what I'm talking about today is going to be basically self-improvement, for the lack of a better term. Really just, what to call it? Really, basically keeping your options open. So, I live in the United States. I know most of my viewers are from the United States, but in case you aren't, I live in the United States. And in other countries, there is a very large pressure not to immediately return to school after you after you graduate high school or secondary school or whatever. Finishing school, trying to get as many possibilities in there as possible. So basically it's a no pressure kind of system. Well, I'm sure there's pressure in some cultures, and just like there is in ours, but it is accepted that people need to go out and learn and go and make mistakes and just learn life a bit. And I think that's something that a lot of people in the United States, at least, especially, I would say, don't really get the experience of anymore, like the good experiences. So basically what I'm saying is there is an overall hierarchy. So right now, college education is very important in my society, basically. The society of you need a degree to graduate, and the way the world is going is that's how it's going to be. But as I've found out recently, and some people are very lucky. I mean, you can look just as near as YouTube. I mean, Woody's gamertag came on in a very opportune time. Xjaws came in right as that big push for commentators in MW or Black Ops. It was Black Ops came out. So, anyways, it's one of those things where some people get lucky in their situation or place, and unfortunately, I can't imagine what it's like living in a third world country where where you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, or if your meals are consistent at all. So, but still, this advice I would like to think still applies to them, because it's very important in a very broad spectrum, and I think that's what makes it such good advice. And the overarching thought is keep your options open. And so that's kind of a broad way of phrasing it, but if you have options in this world, it is endlessly useful. So I didn't go to college or university after I graduated high school. I took a year, and it's now become 2, but I think it was for a good reason in that, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. There's a lot of pressure for me to go to college. My parents kept saying, you need college to, have a good life. And, going into a second year working as a cleaner in a hospital, I can say that, I don't know, depending on the degree or depending on where you are, really, it's true. I mean, you do need a good education higher education to fully benefit from this world, which is very sad because a lot of people lead fulfilling lives without the need for higher education. It's just the way it is. They don't need it, and they make good money. Car mechanics make a lot of money, but it's all supply and demand. I mean, um, a lot of people make really good money right now handling social media accounts for athletes. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, making tens of thousands of dollars every year just so making sure a football player doesn't post something embarrassing on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. So, well, Slim Shady's a bit angry, but anyways, it's just one of those things. So you need to keep your options open. So I work at a hospital, and so that I was very lucky to get that position, and I'm still very thankful. But you need to know where your boundaries are, like you need to understand your own potential, basically. So is your potential just I clean hospitals, and that's a very good profession. I help people. I make sure people don't get sick, so I do my best every day, and there isn't a lot of thanks for it, but at the end of the day I can know I did something good. And some people can't say that at the end of the day. So is that what makes it a good profession? Is that what gets you ahead in life? And for some people, sure, but know your own potential and then keep acting on that potential, because if you don't act on that potential, then it's wasted potential. And honestly, in this day and age, we don't have the time for people who waste their potential, because there is so much devastation worldwide, just things that we can't even imagine, and we're just messing around because we want to be I was about to say social engineers, but that's actually a very good profession. But just a frivolous profession, one that's not needed. It's just unnecessary, really. So where I'm going with this is that, so I wasn't interested in college. So where I am right now, it's very difficult to get into college because a lot of people are more interested in, especially a lot of institutions are more interested in younger kids, basically people that are less mature, easier to, I mean, I don't want to say pull the wool over their eyes, but it's, at a lot of points, it basically is what that is, a lot of, especially with all that pressure from their guidance counselors or whatever, people are concerned that they aren't going to do well in life if they don't go to college, so it's very easy to, make money off of them, so, people do. And if that's what you do, then I would highly recommend rethinking your career choice, because just taking money from people who don't know what they're doing isn't, I wouldn't call you a good person, but that's just me. Anyways, so I work in a hospital, and at this point I have realized that somewhere along the way I am good with computers. I am going for several certifications right now, and I'm hoping to have 5 or 6, and then go to school, because there are a lot of schools that will give you credit for those certifications, and you can get into better programs, honestly. And a lot of those programs, at the end of the day, don't really care what your grade point average was, as long as you show proficiency and consistent proficiency, and they're like, alright, whatever, come on in. You can program, or you're a great IT tech, okay, come on in. So, and in that way, I think that was where the, strike while the iron's hot, because, find what you're interested in, and then don't waste time. Don't be like, oh, I don't really know, because, a lot of, it's this, you have a sappy romance with, everything you love to do, anything from people to things. You know, if you think about playing video games all day, then I mean, there are a lot of career opportunities, you know, as game testers. I mean, they don't make a ton of money, but and you know, you have to understand, you know, a good computer science class would probably do some good, and maybe a programming class would do you some good. But you know, it's people are like, "Oh, you know, you'll never get a job as a game tester." Why not? You know, I'm a in you know, my job title is called environmental services. I work as a janitor in a hospital. I showed interest in IT, and IT in turn embraced me and gave me the tools that I needed to succeed. And I'm sure a lot of employers may feel the same way because they, you know, at the end of the day, it's not about the credentials. It's a, you know, I'm sure there are many lawyers that are lawyers simply because they thought it would be good money, and that's not the reason to become a lawyer. The reason to become a lawyer is because you love helping people or you love prosecuting criminals, and that's just what you want to do. And so I've realized that I really want to be an IT person. You know, I want to be in IT, and I want to help people, you know, fix people's computers and do all that kind of stuff. So I started talking to him. I was like, "Yep, this is what I'm interested in." And and this is the biggest thing. Don't look at your lack of experience or qualifications and say, "Oh, I can't do this job." And granted, there are positions where you have to do that with, like, you're not going to get a surgeon's job if you're working as a, you know, as a clerk or whatever. You got to go to school for that. But there are people who will offer you tools. You know, your company might have some benefits that'll help you go to school to be a surgeon, even if you're a clerk. So, I think that's a lot of people get stuck, and they don't know how to get out of it. So they just resign themselves to a life where they're not happy anymore, because they basically they gave up, and they didn't think any more of themselves. They didn't think they could accomplish any more. So, and it's really sad because I'm 20 years old, and honestly, at some points, I thought my life was, you know, this was kind of the top. You know, I thought I'd sink a lot of money into a college program at some point soon, and then have no idea where it was going. But in talking with people, in keeping my options open, I found something that I love talking about, that I love, you know, even as like a worker. I'm talking IT, and I'm, you know, they're bouncing ideas off me, and you know, I don't know as much as they do, obviously. I still have a long ways to go, but you know, you know, you always pick up stuff, and that's the stuff that they're interested in. At the end of the day, they're not interested in all your fancy degrees, because those are all subjective to how much you paid attention, because you can basically buy a degree. You can have people take tests for you. You can have people do your homework for you. So degrees are subjective, but demonstrated knowledge is not. So if you want to be a game tester, research. You know, research, you know, how to beat those games. You know, a good way of game testing is, you know, trying a speed run or two, because those speed runs are based pretty much exclusively off glitches. And those are exactly the kind of things you're looking for in games, so maybe that's a good place to start. I'm not sure. But it's just, people don't see the opportunities right in front of their face, and I didn't either. And I finally realized that there is no limitations, because you imply those limitations. You are the only one who is limiting yourself, and that is, I mean, really sad, but, you know, it's so human-esque. It's, you know, we all think we have a part in this world, and, you know, some people are willing to accept that even if they're, you know, incredibly smart, that they're just destined to be a desk clerk or whatever. No, you're destined to be whatever you can achieve, whatever you put your mind to, and whatever you can achieve, and keep your options open. Talk to everyone. You know, talk to, you have a cousin who used to do some graphical design. Okay, so he knows something about interfaces and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in computer stuff, or maybe you're interested in graphic design, just email some graphic designers. I mean, they won't mind. I'm sure they won't. Just email them with a couple of questions. Ask if you can, see what they do, and throw $50 their way, and I'm sure they'd be happy to let you sit in for a day. And you can spare a day because at the end of the day, you know, and if you're in a job where you can't spare that day, then it's time to find a new job, honestly, because you're not in a good place to be happy. So, and we're wrapping up, but so basically keep your options open, talk to everyone. Don't be discouraged, especially don't be discouraged when it fails the first time around. I've run into so many obstacles with this IT thing. And it is never going to be easy. Life is never going to be easy. And I know a lot of people think it should be. And, I wish it was. I wish I could make life easy for everyone, but I can't. So, really, just to wrap it up, and I know looking at this blank screen isn't very fun, but, number one, think about what you love to do. Because I loved messing around on the computer, but I never thought it was a viable career. And I really regret that now because I wish now I could have gone straight into college out of high school, just did computer stuff, and then gotten a job in IT somewhere. But I think the way this is going now, it's better for me because I learned the value of hard work. I definitely learned this entire lesson that I'm trying to make now because, walking hallways all day and mopping floors isn't what I wanted to do. So I had to decide what I wanted to do, and I had to think about, and I have a lot of time to think about what I like to do. I love to play video games. I love to do computer stuff. And I wish I liked to do the computer stuff more, but the computer stuff still interests me because I'm always interested in how to fix stuff. Especially computer stuff, and especially, why stuff doesn't work, run troubleshooting, compatibility issues, all that kind of stuff. How to set up a new operating system, all that kind of stuff. That all fascinates me. So, if you have something like that, something that you go to bed thinking about, like, oh man, that would be really cool. And I'm not talking about something ridiculous, like, oh, I want to be an astronaut. And, there are some things that are gonna be impossible. Because, physical limitations, mental limitations, but, if you are obsessively, let's go back to the surgeon thing, if you are obsessively studying, like, textbooks, or you're always interested in, like, the, ER, or I don't even know what's on nowadays for medical shows like House and stuff like that. Not for like the show, but for like the medicine. Then maybe it's time to look at, being a nurse or being a CNA or going to medical school to be a, physician's assistant or a doctor or, go be a general surgeon or a specified surgeon, make a ton of money. But, there's a story from where I work, and that's a lot of people started out where I am. And I take a lot of comfort in the story, actually, is that a lot of people started out where I am. And where I work is very generous, which is very nice of them. And their organization is very together. So I could probably get a job for whatever I'm qualified for most places through the hospital because people know me and they know me as a friendly person. Never go to someone with a frown on your face. Always go with a smile because they want to help you if you have a smile on your face. So I think I need to wrap this up because I'm just starting to blather on now, but if I could say anything, keep your options open. Think about what you want to do and do it. Because there's nothing that can stop you. Because at the end of the day, you're going to strive for what makes you happy. So instead of feeling bad for yourself, it's time to put that energy into what makes you happy. So I will be studying my butt off and getting certifications for IT, and hopefully starting next year, about a year from now. And, that's a long time, but I think that gives me time to get all my ducks in a row and knock all those down. And then I'll be ready. And set similar goals. Don't do anything out of the, too rashly. Think it out. Talk to your parents. Talk to your boss. Talk to, a trusted, someone you trust. Basically, bounce ideas off of them. Because I'm not good with the whole self-confidence department, but making sure that you're not forgetting any steps is important. So, when all said and done, you should be able to sit down at a desk and write a list. And it's very important to write lists, pros and cons, or however you might do it. And I wrote a list the other day, and it was so funny because my pros list was 13 or 14 long, and my cons list had one. And it was so funny. I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but it was something along the lines of, it costs money, and it's expensive. Yeah, okay. It's, money isn't the end of the world, and too many people treat it like it is. So, if money's standing in between you and it, then do it bits at a time. My test costs $150. So, that's a lot of money to a lot of people, and that's a lot of money to me right now. I just spent, I just paid my rent, I just took my cat to the vet, and, it adds up. I know, no, I don't know better than most, but I know as well as a lot of people that it adds up very quickly. But, put that $20, instead of getting those scratch offs sort of, put that $20 away for yourself, because instead of investing in the long shot, investing in yourself is what you should be doing. So, yeah, invest in yourself. Know what you want to do, and as Shia LaBeouf would say, just do it. So, I'm thinking I'm going to wrap this up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys might not be inspired, but, I'm not trying to, maybe I'll inspire someone. Okay. I think that's great. Someone's really inspired to go out, but I think inspiration wears off pretty quick. But if I plant that seed of not doubt, but of just pondering, just, I really like writing. I could be an editor. Yeah, I would love to edit people's stuff. I always really enjoy critiquing other people's work, trying to make it better. Okay, there you go. Go to a newspaper, see if they have any editor positions, see if they have any positions. Because once you're there, you're surrounded by that culture, and then you just work your way up. And that's the magic to it, really. So, never limit yourself because of who you are or where you come from. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully my next video will be a little less inspirational, a little more funny. With Windows 10 out now, I will be recording straight off the Xbox One, and I will be recording launch week of both NBA 2K16 and Madden 16. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And until next time, have a night. Yeah, okay. Just screw up the ending. It's great. Way to go. But I hope you guys have a nice night, and we'll see you next time. See ya.